for the Republic. Ooh. Greetings, Force fans. I decided to put the armor back on. It's been a long time since I had this armor on. Probably about a month. I don't know, I've just been lazy. Haven't felt like suited up. So when I did decide to suit up, I figured I would join all of my friends here on a live, and we'll talk about it. So if you guys want to talk about this Clone Trooper armor, this is my 501st armor. This is 501st Realistic Phase 2 Clone Trooper armor. If you want to know how I built it, how it all goes together, any questions that you've got, let me know, please. Let me know. This is an all questions answered live. Everything you ever wanted to know about Clone Trooper armor. So this kit comes from a couple different vendors. The helmet, it's Chris the prop guy, gentleman out of Australia that makes some fine helmets. This is a Phase 2 resin cast helmet that I got from Chris. The armor kit, this is ABS plastic, and it's from a company called 850 Armor Works, very close to me in Pensacola, Florida. They do all of my armor kits. So, and they do clones, they do stormtroopers, they do Mandalorians, they do shore troopers, they do every kind of damn trooper that you've got. Shoes, different vendor, gloves, different vendor. So, you know, kind of depends on what you're talking about. But, yep, it's ugly on the inside, but that is my 501st Clone Trooper helmet. Lieutenant Lego. What is up, my friend? I just suited up in my armor, and I figured I would give you guys a close-up look. If you had any questions about this, how it all goes together, what it looks like, what it costs, anything, let me know. Let me know. I've had this armor for probably about 2 years now, three years almost. Yeah, so built it, and it has lasted. It is an expensive hobby to get into. The helmet kit, I think, cost $150, and that's just for an unfinished helmet. Armor kit with the belt is probably going to run you about $1,000. And again, that's unfinished. You're looking at probably $250 worth of paint and supplies to throw into it. And another $150 for boots, another $50 for a neck seal. So to get a 501st approved Clone Trooper, it is expensive. It took me, so this one was my first build, and it probably took me about 6 months to build it. I can knock out a full set of armor now in probably about 6 weeks, you know, depending. But yeah, I've gotten it down to about a 6 to 8 week process, so it probably takes me a month and a half, 2 months to build a complete set of armor. Like my Cody armor took a lot less time to build than this. I was kind of figuring it out as I did this one. So yeah, takes a while as well. I do full commission armor builds. I've built several full kits for other individuals, all gentlemen. So for other guys, and I do full commissions. It's expensive and it takes a long time, but happy to oblige. And again, helmet, this is from Chris the prop guy. This is a full resin cast helmet. None of this stuff is 3D printed. The armor is ABS plastic, so it's a vacuum formed sheet of plastic that kind of comes in these when you put these kits together. I've got full build playlists. If you go to my About page, that'll show you the build process for all of my armors that I've done. Let's put the helmet on and get a good look at it. Got the blaster too. For the Republic. Good soldiers follow orders. Yeah, I think probably one of, yeah, check it out, definitely. Definitely. Lots of playlists that go into the full construction of these things. I think probably my most asked question is what, well, two things. What can you see out of the helmet? And I mean, your vision from about here up is pretty good. I mean, you can see a wide field of vision, but you just can't see down without kind of looking down. So it's a little bit difficult to see where you're walking or to see if you're about to trip on something. You really need to look down. As far as movement, I've got plenty of movement. I can jump. I could actually run in this. It's just the bending over piece gets really difficult, and that's really mainly because of the cod here. You can only bend down a certain amount. So when I'm suiting up, basically if I need, once I get this piece on, which is the first piece to go on, although it doesn't have the ab in it, I like to tell myself if you need to sit or shit, go ahead and get it done first because it's a process to get this off. Thank you, sir. This is probably my favorite armor. I feel like it helps that I am clone sized. I'm 6 foot, 175, so I'm basically the size that a clone is. So I feel like it does look really good on my body type. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that movement is probably the biggest question, and I really do have, a full range of movement in this thing, and it's not extremely uncomfortable to wear. I've worn this. I like to do the big sporting events around here, so we'll go down and there's a hockey game in Pensacola and a baseball game in Pensacola. So I've done summertime, Pensacola, Florida, 2 hours, out on a baseball diamond, and didn't get, it wasn't that uncomfortable. So there's always cracks and chips, and yes, while I'm wearing it, they have cracked and chips. So like that right there is a piece that came off when it dropped. I really just need to kind of turn that back into some weathering. But that was one right there that I just turned into a blaster mark. This thing is cracking and chipping all over the place. However, it's much more durable than a 3D printed suit. ABS plastic just really, really lasts. Again, I've had this fully built for 2.5, maybe 3 years now. Trooped in it, dozens and dozens of troops, plus tons of time suiting up for these little videos, and it's still holding up. So I would absolutely recommend an ABS plastic suit. It's also a lot lighter, a lot more flexible than something that's 3D printed. So if you're going to go clone armor, yeah, it's an investment. The suit is going to cost you, the kit's going to cost you $800 to $1,000. So it's an investment, but it's definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. Hello there, General Kenobi, Lego agent. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so I'll give you guys one more, kind of full shot of it all together, and then I'm going to take it off so you guys can kind of see how it's all strapped, how it all goes together. It's actually a really simple strapping system on this, not a whole lot to kind of strap and put together. It all mainly just kind of floats and sits where it's supposed to sit. So I will show you that. Let me give you one more shot with the helmet on because, you got to agree, this is the coolest fucking helmet. Coolest fucking helmet in Star Wars. And this is by far the coolest armor, in my opinion. Used to love Stormtrooper armor. But after building several clones, Stormtrooper armor just looks kind of janky to me. So I'll give you the full 360. The DC-15A, or S, sorry, this is the S, this is the shorty. This is from Galactic Armory. If you ever purchase anything from Galactic Armory, make sure to use code Darth Rage at checkout. You'll save 10%. All right, so let's take a look at how this all goes together, just so you can kind of see how it's strapped up and how it's put on. I'm very proud and happy that I can put this armor on all by myself. I designed my kit so you can suit up by yourself. What's the use of getting dressed up if you have to have somebody's help to do it? That's no fun. So let's take a look at how this all goes together. So these gloves, these are Nomex flight gloves. You can get them on Amazon. It's just like military flight gloves. Little piece of Velcro that holds the hand armor on to both of those. These forearm gauntlet pieces, I've just got a little piece of upholstery foam in there that basically holds these in place. And again, these are very light, not heavy at all. Elbows and knees are basically identical. They've got this fake armor strap on the back here, but then there's a piece of elastic that holds these in place. And again, all separate pieces, all kind of self-holding. The shoulders, this off, and then I will explain it to you. All right, so the shoulder and the bicep is attached with a strap, and this is really all just one piece. It always stays together. I've got a little piece of elastic here that holds the shoulder pad down, shoulder belt down, but that's all connected with a clip that's connected to my neck seal. So my neck seal has a clip on either side, and that just holds on like that. Very simple. Clips in the top right there. And that's both sides like that. There we go. All right, chest. So people do this different than the way that I build my chest. The costume requirement list, the CRL, just calls for a visible seam here. Most people make this a clamshell that opens up and closes, so kind of easy to slip on. I felt like that was an unnecessary extra addition, an extra thing that could move, so I just make mine as one solid piece, and it just slides over to that. I just think that's a better way of doing it. And that literally just rests on top of the abs. There's nothing else holding this up. Very simple. So again, most people make this a clamshell. It opens up, it closes, but yeah, it doesn't bother me. Person was asking about cracks. You can see there's kind of one right there that's forming that I will eventually have to address. Okay. Neck seal here. This is from Dark Side Closet, I think. Yeah, Dark Side Closet. One piece. I attached these two straps with elastic to hold the shoulder bells on, like so. And then this is just suspenders. Well, my homemade suspenders made out of straps here. So in order to be able to bend over and take off the leg pieces, I got to get the cod off here. Cod butt and abs, also collectively known as the clone diaper. Yeah. So this piece, Velcro, 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 Velcro. So I've got two pieces of Velcro under here. So Velcro's on there, and then you'll see snaps on the side, and this is part of the requirement. It's got snaps on it. So there's a snap right there that snaps onto that, and that Velcro's underneath. So that sits under there, and then it's basically still kind of free floating and has a little bit of movement. It's not fully connected. I guess I could connect it 100%, but yeah. So that's the cod piece. All right, let's get these legs off. I'm going to take one of these off and kind of show you what we're working with. And this is probably the hardest part about suiting up, are the legs. And it's also, these shims are probably the most difficult part of a clone armor build, or at least a realistic clone armor build. And I will explain that shortly. Okay, so these shoes came from Keep Trooping. These things are awesome. They were expensive, but these are like legitimate bespoke shoes. I've weathered them myself. That's not, that's just me weathering. But these things are awesome. I would absolutely recommend Keep Trooping for your Clone Trooper boots. All right. So this is the shin and the shin spoon. So when they made the Clone Trooper armor, it was all computer generated for the show. So the first people to actually make real armor were 501st, costumers, which I think is kind of cool, you know, that they basically created the first real world version of this from something that artists computer generated. So there are no seams in the armor when you look at it. So in order to, unless you're double jointed, you can't get your foot through there. So in order to make this work, you have a spoon that pops out. There's tabs that I've created on the inside there, tab there, and there's one under the top there. So you can put this on, get your foot in there, through like that, put that on, and then you slide the shin spoon in, and it seems like it is one solid piece. So this gives people headaches when they're building clone armor. It really is not all that difficult, but it's a nifty little kind of workaround. You know, kind of one of the contributions that the 501st has made to Star Wars. So the knees, again, are just like the elbows. So it's got this fake armor strap, and then it's just a little piece of elastic here. Cool little fun fact about the 501st, and I didn't realize this until after I was in the 501st. So the 501st had their name before the 501st Legion in Star Wars. So the costuming group named themselves, and they kind of came up with a military sounding designation. Then Timothy Zahn, who is one of the best Star Wars authors out there, I think didn't he invent, what's his name? The fucking blue alien from the latest thing. Anyway, Timothy Zahn was writing one of the novels, I think it was in between, or it might have been the Clone Wars novelization, or Revenge of the Sith novelization. He decided to name Anakin's clone trooper Legion, the 501st Legion, in honor of the costuming group. So the costuming group came first and then became canon in Star Wars, and that's just fucking cool. So again, knees just like that. All right, so the thighs are the only part of the bottom that is really strapped in, and it's got a strap here with straps that lead to each individual thigh. Oop, almost fell over. So again, it's just a belt with a little strap on the side, and those hold those in, and you wear it like a belt. Yep, I am a member of the 501st as well. I've got 2 501st costumes as well as a Rebel Legion costume. I'm working on additionals. So this, again, the clone diaper, all one piece, straps that I made that I just wear like suspenders. Some people do use suspenders. I figured that was a waste of money. I've already got strapping. Why not just strap it myself? And then that's all one solid piece, basically. And then this is also Velcro. The butt piece is Velcro the same as the cod. So there you go. There you go. So that is it. That's how it all goes together. That's how it all goes on. I hope y'all enjoyed this. If you did, give me a like, possibly subscribe. I think you'll enjoy my content. As always, I'm Darth Rage. This is Darth Rage Reviews, your source for the Force.